Prime Minister Narendra Modi is having a very crucial meeting, not just with Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Chief of Defence Staff General Anil, Chauhan, but also the three services chiefs. And this is the first meeting that is being held at 7 Lok Kalyan Marg with this group after the targeting of Terror Central, after the targeting of Lashkar-e-Taiba headquarters at Buritke and Jaish-e-Mohammed's important base at Bahawalpur, along with Hizbul Mujahideen's base at Sialkot, along with multiple terror launch pads and bases in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. And this after Pakistan sent in 400 drones, rockets and missiles to target 36 different military and civilian locations across Jammu-Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat. Does this mean aaj ki raat, tonight, there will be consequences for a state sponsor of radical Islamist terror? And that is our top focus story on the broadcast.
India hits back after Pakistan escalation.
Airbus 320, जैसा कि आप यहाँ देख रहे हैं.
India's air defense shields shine. Made in India, Akash crushes Pakistan's strikes. Sudarshan Chakra's S-400 defense. Pakistan's escalation bid fails. Big focus on India first.
Pakistan's bid to target India failed, but there's one thing that Pakistan by now clearly knows. Pakistan has repeatedly failed. India hasn't failed. Not when those 9 missiles targeted with pinpoint accuracy at all the terror launch pads and hubs. And perhaps now when there will be consequences for Pakistan. Because even this morning, after Pakistan's bid failed, India sent in that Harop kamikaze drone to take out an air defense radar. Very systematically, Pakistan's warfighting capabilities are being degraded day by day, perhaps hour by hour. But the images that you see on your television screen, they're very dangerous. That's a total blackout across multiple locations all along the international border and the line of control. This isn't just restricted now to either side of Pir Panjal, in Poonch, in Rajouri, in Uri and in Kupwara, but come down, take a look at what's happening in Punjab, including in some of the depth areas. Then come down to what's happening in Rajasthan and in Gujarat. But I'm also showing you what happened through the night yesterday and what's likely, God forbid, that may happen once again today, because as a precautionary measure, there's a total blackout across the entire border belt. What's extremely significant, that various airports in the border belt have been ordered shut till the 15th of the month. I'll get you much more. I'm Gaurav Sawant. As always, let's get started with the headlines on India first. So I want to get you the latest. Last night's escalation by Pakistan was neutralized by Indian forces. Resolute action. Not a single Pakistani missile, drone or rocket found its target. They were destroyed mid-air, decimated. Pakistan's escalation bid was an epic failure. At a crucial briefing earlier this evening, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri made that very clear. Colonel Sofia Qureshi was there. Wing Commander Vyomika Singh was there. India detailed how Pakistan's attempts failed. The drone intrusion, there was an attempt even in Leh. So that's a new area that's opened up. So far, it was restricted to area which was just south of Zojila. Now it's escalated on the other side of Zojila. Remember that Kargil, Dras, Batalik belt going all the way up to Leh. Pakistan's made attempts even in a new sector. There will be consequences for Pakistan because once again, along the line of control in this sector, in the Ladakh sector, the Indian Army is far stronger, as Pakistan realized in the Kargil war and subsequent punitive strikes that India carried out. But drone intrusions that were attempted from Leh to Sir Creek in Gujarat, 36 locations, 400 drones. Indian Armed Forces brought down a number of these drones using both kinetic means, which is firing your rockets, your missiles, or your Zu-23 anti-aircraft guns. Killer precision these weapons have. I've seen them in action, not just in Kargil, but even subsequently for point defense. They're accurate. Some of them have been modified, and during the course of the broadcast, we'll tell you about some of these beautiful weapons of war and their deadly precision with which they destroy the enemy assets. I'll also tell you about the non-kinetic means, the jammers that have been used, and that is where India's technological advantage, made in India technology, holds India in great stead. In response to the Pakistani attack, armed drones were launched at 4 Pakistani air defense sites in broad daylight today. And what we were officially told by Government of India, in Pakistan's Punjab province, one of those defense radars, air defense radars of Pakistan, AD radar, that was destroyed. I'll tell you more about it during the broadcast, but first, let's listen in to what the government said.
On the intervening night of 8th-9th May 2025, Pakistan military carried out multiple violations of Indian airspace along the entire western border with an intent to target military infrastructure. Pakistan military also resorted to firing of heavy caliber weapons along the line of control. Along the international border and line of control, drone intrusions were attempted from Leh to Sir Creek at 36 locations with approximately 300 to 400 drones. Indian Armed Forces brought down a number of these drones using kinetic and non-kinetic means. The possible purpose of these large-scale aerial intrusions were to test the AD systems and gather intelligence. Forensic examination of the drone debris is being undertaken. Preliminary reports suggest them to be of Aziz Guard Songa drone of Turkey.
So what was India's weapon of choice? In fact, there were multiple, and this is actually India's big strength that Pakistan lacks. Made in India weapons, made in Russia weapons. I'm telling you about all of these in one go. So I want to begin by first talking about the S-400 systems. Take a look at the world's most advanced air defense shield that India has, the S-400 system. And why is the S-400 perhaps the best long-range air defense systems in the world? It's better, arguably, and that's what those who use it say, better than America's THAAD system, the Terminal High Altitude Air Defense System of America. So the S-400 system, as you can see, is road mobile. It's based on these vehicles that can quickly be moved from one area to another. One are these canisters which have the missiles. The other is the command and control structure. And the third are those radars. So they scan multiple targets simultaneously up to 600 kilometers away and can destroy them up to 400 kilometers away. What are those targets that they can destroy? They can destroy an incoming aircraft. They can destroy an incoming cruise missile, a ballistic missile, an unmanned aerial vehicle. Multiple targets can be tracked 400 kilometers away. Targets can be destroyed. 160 targets can be shot and destroyed. 72 targets can be engaged simultaneously at various ranges. So this is an amazing system. No one in the world has better. India ordered 5 of these systems at a cost of 39,000 crore rupees. 3 have arrived. The other 2 hopefully should arrive soon. Let me now tell you about the Akash indigenous air defense missile shield. Now it's a medium-range surface-to-air missile defense system. So we have the long-range LR-SAMs, we have the MR-SAMs, which is medium-range surface-to-air missile, and this has been developed by the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, along with BDL, they've worked together on this. The ranges are between 45 kilometers to 70 kilometers. Again, they can engage multiple targets simultaneously, packed with explosives, and it has its own guidance system, which incidentally is made in India. Let me now tell you about the Zu-23 systems, the Shilka self-propelled system with 423 mm auto cannons. It has a radar. Again, this is made in India, and I want to tell you so much more about this system because it's been developed by India in a way that it can, and modified by India in such a way that it can take out threats up to 20 kilometers away. And the rapid speed of fire of ammunition, 4,000 rounds it can fire per minute, upgraded with proximity fuse ammunition, advanced fire control to take out even small drones, lethal for UAVs. It can take down a helicopter, an enemy helicopter that's coming in your way, and light armored units are using this. Let me also tell you about the L-70. That's a 40 mm anti-aircraft gun. Again, modified domestically. It has radars and sensors, includes electro-optic and auto-tracking gear. Fires, can you imagine? 240 to 330 rounds per minute. Effective range, once again, up to 4 kilometers away. So some of these are much older weapons and systems, but they have been modified within the country. They can actually saturate the airspace with predictive firepower. So can any Pakistani drone or rocket or missile come into your country when you have this kind of system? And who better than my colleague Sandeep Unnithan to tell us more about this system by system right now on this special broadcast. Sandeep, tell us about this entire gamut, the entire gamut of India's air defense system. And Sandeep, it's all integrated.
Absolutely, Gaurav. It has what we call an integrated air defense command and control network that's controlled by the Indian Air Force. It has various weapons that you've just described in arranged. It's a multi-tiered system of weapons. It's arranged according to the engagement range of each system. So you have the short range, which starts with the Igla M missile, which are shoulder-fired missiles that have a range of about 5 kilometers, and it goes to the medium-range missiles, which are the Akash, which are the Barak 8, which are Spider missiles, and then finally it goes on to the long-range missile capability, which is missiles that can target over 100 kilometers away. That's where the S-400 comes in. So it's a very complex network of all of these radars, systems, and missiles. We've integrated indigenous weapons, the indigenous guns, missiles, Israeli missiles, Russian missiles, all of this in this one fascinating air defense network that protects all of our vital areas, vital positions. And we saw some of that kick into action yesterday when Pakistan launched that massive barrage of drones. And the other aspect of this air defense network, Gaurav, is now given how high threat, the kind of threat level that we are facing with drones, you have a counter UAS grid that's being set up. We saw the first mention of that yesterday in the press note, where the Defense Ministry said that the counter UAS drone system had shot down several incoming drones, and now this counter UAS system uses hard kill and soft kill measures, the hard kill being fast-firing guns, the soft kill being jammers, electronic warfare systems that analyze the threat as it comes in and neutralizes them. So it's overall, it's a very complicated air defense network that we have set up, Gaurav, a very comprehensive, multi-layered, multi-channel air defense network that we've set up over several decades. And this is only going to get better, Gaurav. And
you know what's absolutely fascinating, Sandeep? It's not a single service operation. The Army can do it, the Air Force can do it, and they do it together in such a beautiful way. The Army for tactical operations and the Air Force for strategic operations, and yet so beautifully integrated. Like some of the stuff that's been that was taken down, the enemy drones that were coming in were taken down by the Zu-23s. These are, Second World War equipment, rapid fire, and they can just take down an incoming rocket or drone. It just shows the Army and the Air Force, they operate so well together.
Absolutely, Gaurav. In fact, the one interesting observation here is that in the era of drones and drone warfare, the gun, the anti-aircraft gun has made a remarkable comeback. And, weapons that you were talking of, like the Zu-23, the twin-barreled Soviet-built anti-aircraft cannon, the L-70, the venerable L-70, made during the Second World War in the 1940s, more than 80 years ago, that's come back into service, modernized, of course, by Bharat Electronics. And these are the frontline assets, frontline kinetic assets to bring down drones. Because these slow-moving drones, you don't want to engage them with your high-end, top-end missiles. You would want to use these fairly expendable, fairly inexpensive, fast-firing cannons, and which is what the military seems to have done. And the Army, Gaurav, as you were mentioning, the Army has its own air defense requirements. Some of it is integrated with the Indian Air Force. The Army operates the L-70 guns, of course, the Army Air Defense Corps. They have their own missiles, short and medium-range missiles, which are meant for either protecting vital areas, vital positions like, military installations, air bases and all that. And also, of course, for the strike formations,
the Tungushkas.
The Tungushkas, the Quadrats, these provide mobile air defense coverage for our strike corps and their associated formations. So it's a very interesting and a very complicated, integrated network of various air defense assets. And the interesting part, Gaurav, is that increasingly a lot of these assets are coming in from indigenous sources. You have the Akash and its variants. You have the Akash new generation, next generation. You have the VSHORAD that's coming into service now, and many other such systems. You have the QRSAM, the Quick Reaction SAM, the Barak 8, which is an Israeli system, but which is built with in a joint venture with India. That's also being indigenized. So what you're looking at is overall a huge investment in air defense networks, air defense coverage, radars, missiles, sensors, and of course, counter-UAS, counter-drone systems, Gaurav.
Okay, stay with me, and it's so fascinating. I want to bring in Air Marshal Sanjeev Kapoor into this conversation. And Air Marshal Kapoor, this is absolutely spellbinding, the manner in which Pakistan sent in 400 rockets, missiles, drones. We are told some was just to test our air defense systems, and the manner in which all the way from Leh to Sir Creek on the map of India, I want to show you that vast expanse. So 3,500 kilometers approximately of the international border, 770 kilometers of the line of control, and then 110 kilometers of the actual ground position line. We are dominating all over. Air Marshal, your appreciation of the manner in which the strike package came and how that strike of Pakistan failed.
See, Gaurav, there are two things. One, I've been telling on your program, the Chinese weapons have never been utilized. So Chinese would be seeing the performance of their JF-17s, J-10, the missiles, air-to-air missiles, some pictures they showed this morning.
The PL-15s, air-to-air missiles.
They are wanting to see how they are performing, to make changes, because in the end, they have to fight against the Western platforms if they have to do something in Taiwan or some area. So this is a testing ground for Chinese too. The Chinese equipment, the aeroplanes, have never been utilized in any campaign till now. This is the first time in the history. So these drones, which may be mainly of Chinese origin, would be sent in swarms to see 2-3 things. One, their feasibility, how they are able to penetrate our air defense systems, how well, and the location of our... It's a cheap way to find where our sensors are. Because they send a swarm, our radars open up, so this gives our location. So this is another way, because... So what in my appreciation would have happened is that we have not fired as many missiles, and we have taken them through electronic warfare means. wherein we actually have not dispensed with weapons. Now, I told in the program in the morning also, for the benefit of the viewers who are watching now, the big shield, like just say in a game of rugby, there is 2-3 guys who are standing behind and guarding the whole thing, is S-400.
Yes.
So S-400 is the main thing which is preventing them to come this side. Because
that's our Sudarshan Chakra.
Yes, Sudarshan Chakra in 2021, against all odds, against the government, the oppositions saying that we can build hospitals with this, we can build highways with this. The 15 cities that have been protected 2 nights before is because of S-400s. Because we have integrated with our DRDO, our weapons and our sensors, and integration with the army equipment. So all this is paying dividend now. So there is absolute integration in the border between the Air Force and the army. Plus,
You're making a very important point. And on the Chinese equipment that you speak of, for the benefit of our viewers, I want each and every viewer to understand how China has armed Pakistan, as many would argue, only to fight India. Now, take a look at some of the equipment that the Pakistanis are using in the current fight. And I want to begin by talking about that missile, that air-to-air missile, PL-15, air-to-air missile which was recovered from a field in Hoshiarpur. Now, this missile is believed to have been fired from a Pakistani JF-17 Thunder aircraft, again of Chinese origin. It was shot down from what sources in the Indian Air Force tell India Today from the Akash Made in India Air Defense System, Missile Air Defense Shield. Now, this missile failed to detonate on impact, and this missile would be a gold mine of information. So let me tell you a little more about the PL-15. It's a BVR, that means it's a Beyond Visual Range air-to-air missile. It's the latest missile in the inventory of the PLAF, the People's Liberation Army Air Force, or the Chinese Air Force. The operational range is between 160 to 200 kilometers. That is what the Chinese say. It can kill an aircraft 200 kilometers away. So the Pakistanis don't even have to cross the international border, the line of control. From inside their territory, they can fire inside Indian territory and hope to take down an aircraft. It's a radar-guided air-to-air missile. It's resistant to jamming by the adversary. The speed, and this is where detecting and neutralizing it according to the Chinese or according to data that's available becomes extremely, extremely difficult, because it's extremely faster, 3 times, 4 times, some argue 5 times the speed of sound fired either from a JF-17 Thunder, again Chinese origin, J-10C multi-role Chinese fighter, again Chinese origin. So let's take this one by one. The recovery of this missile, air-to-air missile, and virtually intact, Sandeep, a gold mine not just for India, but also for the United States of America.
Absolutely, Gaurav. Intelligence gold mine, you nailed it. This is possibly one of the most significant recoveries in this current standoff. Our scientists are studying it even as we speak, because they want to understand the capabilities of this beyond visual range missile, which people have only heard of. We've seen models of it in air exhibitions, but we've never seen a real PL-15. And the most interested people in this missile, the United States, would be very, very interested in seeing this missile up close, Gaurav. They would want to see the kind of, the metallurgy of the missile, how it's able to fly so fast, and what are the kind of sensors, and most importantly, what are the kind of seekers that this missile uses to lock onto the target. Because, Gaurav, this is the kind of air-to-air weaponry that the United States is going to face if and when there is a conflict over Taiwan in East Asia. So this is something that the United States would want to look at very, very closely, study this. Possibly it could be high on the agenda of any future India-US joint collaboration effort, or even any kind of, technology exchange, you can call it that. They would want to look at this missile system very closely, study it, and, develop countermeasures to this, Gaurav.
Air Marshal, how curious would you be to take a peek inside this missile and to know what's inside and the threat that it poses. Oh my God, you have such a big smile on your face. It's actually a gold mine. You're willing to pay its weight in gold to study this.
The most happiest people would be the Air Force people and the DRDO scientists. And I'm sure coming to the point, I just wanted to add a point in the last discussion is that the Chinese have their own FC-1s, which they have named as JF-17. Now, the beauty is that Kamra Aeronautical Complex, along with Chengdu of China, have not manufactured the FC-1s, are not flying in China. They have made a low-end variant in Pakistan, in Kamra. And what are they doing? They have churned out 150 of them, and from Pakistan, they are exporting it to Myanmar and Nigeria. So, these aeroplanes, these weapons, these equipments have not been used. And the efficacy is what be worrying the Chinese too. Now, this PL-15, which you have just shown, must have sent shivers down the Chinese leadership because, to give away a near intact weapon to an adversary, for them to, see and, analyze and then put the preventive things in their own devices is a big thing. And it is an upgraded version of PL-10. So both for PL-10 and PL-15, this would be of a great interest to us, I'm sure.
Okay, let's now get to the other big system, which has been, as many argue, a failure or at least failed to protect the skies around Lahore. And that's the HQ-16. The missile air defense shield around Lahore. Again, this is a Chinese air defense missile shield based on the Russian Buk missile system, or Buk as some argue, deployed for protection of Lahore city. It's a medium-range surface-to-air missile shield capable of destroying targets up to 40 kilometers away, and it's deployed not just around Lahore, deployed around Islamabad, deployed around Karachi. It is to protect your VAVPs or vital assets and vital points. It was destroyed by a single Harop kamikaze drone strike in Sandeep. It's not a very good missile defense shield if it can't even protect itself. How will it protect Lahore city?
Well, Gaurav, the Defense Minister of Pakistan had a very interesting observation on this, where he said that they didn't switch on their radars to intercept these kamikaze drones because they didn't want to reveal their locations. That's a laughable assertion, Gaurav, because, I mean, if you're not going to stop anything that's coming in, you know that there's a kamikaze drone that's shrieking in its, terminal descent, and you do nothing to stop it, and your radar systems are knocked out, your missile batteries are taken out. So it isn't a very effective radar or a missile system if it isn't, switched on, Gaurav. So, but coming back to the system, the HQ series missiles that Pakistan has acquired from China is part of its, its move over the last decade to upgrade its air defense network. They have been very woefully inadequate in air defense. They had, very antiquated Western systems, Swedish and French, European air defense networks and systems and missiles. They've slowly been upgrading that with the HQ-9, series of missiles.
And in fact, they started getting these honky systems post the 2019 Balakot airstrikes. That's when they found they were so vulnerable.
Yes.
In 2025, they're equally vulnerable, if not more. Okay. So Khwaja Asif says we have radars, but we did not switch on our radars because we didn't want to compromise our positions. Air Marshal, what do you make of his rather, I mean, is it a lame excuse? Or you also have a big smile on your face? Sandeep had a big smile on his face. But, I would take Khwaja Asif very seriously because nobody else in Pakistan at least takes him seriously. But go on, Air Marshal. You respond to what Khwaja Asif said.
When my children were small and you asked them why you didn't do the homework, this is the tip of the pencil broke. So you have to find some excuse for not doing a thing the way it is supposed to be done. So the problem is the gullible public at large in the country.
Okay, give me a moment, sir. Give me a moment, sir. These are images of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in conversation. That's the Chief of Naval Staff. The Prime Minister looks very stern. That's the Chief of Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, General Upendra Dwivedi, Chief of Army Staff, General Anil Chauhan, Chief of Air Staff. You also see the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval looking very stern. When the Prime Minister looks stern, when Ajit Doval, the National Security Advisor, looks very stern, well, there is reason for Pakistan to be very, very worried in these pictures. And I want to bring in Sandeep. Sandeep, analyze the body language. General Anil Chauhan has a gentle smile on his face. And when a soldier smiles, then there is reason to be concerned.
Absolutely, Gaurav. Either he's completely relaxed about what's playing out right now, or they have an ace up their sleeves. But, you know, I'm very interested in what Admiral Dinesh Tripathi is writing right now. He seems to be the only one in the room who's taking down notes. And Gaurav, this, this is for you. Is it the Navy's turn this time to, spring a surprise on Pakistan from the Northern Arabian Sea? You know,
it's very interesting because every Pakistani would really want to know right now what the Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral Tripathi, what is he writing? Is the Prime Minister actually telling him, okay, you can go hit point A, point B, point C, or whatever else? Air Marshal, your appreciation of these images that we are playing out on India Today, these are images that we only have right now on India Today. You're looking at these images of that meeting that's happening at the 7 Lok Kalyan Marg residence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Would the Navy, is this higher direction of war? Is this what is higher direction of war, which is given straight from the Prime Minister to the services?
See, on your program a couple of days ago, I had mentioned that the whole country was, shouting why 10 days have gone, why 12 days have gone, we have not done anything, we have not retaliated. And I always kept saying that it is the 20th move of the adversary that we are planning. We have just moved 2 or 3 rungs. So what all is needed at the background? And I'm sure they would be just refining what they have already thought. He would be taking stock as to where we have reached, what are the options available to us, and in case the adversary takes it to the next level, in what way do we respond? Take it to 3rd level, 4th level, 5th level, whatever the working would have been worked out at the back end. And I'm sure they would be discussing that. And of course, there is nothing better than doing a blockade and choking the adversary to a place where it matters. Because Pakistan does not have strategic depth. Pakistan does not have huge storage for fuel, oil and other reserves. And it has a limitation in getting things.
Because the Pakistanis right now, yeah, you're absolutely right, sir. Sandeep, the Pakistanis right now would be analyzing. They'd probably get in lip readers. They would want to know every bit of conversation that they can drag. Of course, all they see are smiling faces. The Prime Minister, of course, is sending out a message. His face, I mean, you can't, his expression is very firm. And he's actually taken the boldest decision yet in India's war on this radical Islamist terror, where a decision has been taken to strike at Muridke and at Bahawalpur and at Sialkot. Sandeep, it's the boldest decision yet.
Absolutely, Gaurav. I mean, this is, you're looking at literally the brain's trust of India's national security apparatus in that room there in Lok Kalyan Marg. And that's the Prime Minister, the National Security Advisor, the Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, the Chiefs of the Navy, Army and the Air Force. This is literally, these are the men who have taken the boldest decision, I would say, Gaurav, in the last 25 years. They have decided that enough is enough and it is time to teach Pakistan a lesson for 25 years of, harboring, training and launching terrorists against India. They have actually demonstrated over the last few days, Gaurav, that Pakistan's low-cost option of sending terrorists and murdering civilians in India will have consequences. There is no low-cost war that Pakistan can fight anymore. Any move that Pakistan does today is going to have very, very high costs for them, not just now, but well into the near future as well, Gaurav. As we just discussed over the last few days, all options are on the table, Gaurav, whether it's diplomatic, whether it's political, whether it's military. The Indus Water Treaty, that's something that has never been on the table for 65 years. That is now being seriously looked at, re-looked at rather.
Absolutely.
It's a range of options, Gaurav. And these are the men who have literally made that happen. 25 years of Pakistan's state-sponsored terror, and these are the men, these images are going to be seared in our mind for a long time. These are the men who made sure that India would never feel unsafe again when it comes to tackling Pakistan's state-sponsored terrorism, Gaurav.
You know, because right now, if Pakistan is flapping like headless chicken, there is a reason for it. Indus Water Treaty was never held in abeyance. So Pakistan must clearly realize water and blood cannot flow together. Murid and Bahawalpur have never been hit in the past. Proper Punjab, as Pakistani Punjabi Muslimans put it, the well-heeled ones who speak with that fake Oxbridge accent, even if they've gone anywhere close to the British High Commission or the American Embassy, they say proper Pakistan has never been hit. And this Kashmir cause, as many analysts argue, is only between Raiwind and Rawalpindi. But that is where India has struck terror. I want to bring in Aishwarya Paliwal. Aishwarya, this is that first meeting, and it's almost like either stock taking or assessment of our strategy, refining what needs to be done next. What more can you tell us, Aishwarya?
Well, Gaurav, let me tell you one thing. You know, what has happened over the past 24 hours, every detail of that is now being told to the Prime Minister. We have all seen the pictures of that very high-level meeting, which at the moment is underway. From where I'm standing right outside Prime Minister Narendra Modi's house, the 7 LKM Lok Kalyan Marg. Inside, the crucial meeting is taking place. The next course of action also, Gaurav, is something that will be decided in this very crucial meeting. We have seen the government coming out and clearly saying that it was Pakistan which made sure that they use, as a shield, the plane which was flying in, the civilian plane which was flying in, and on the back of that, they had the drone. So that's something that Pakistan was trying to do in this very crucial meeting. What has happened over the past 24 hours and what will happen in the next 24 hours, that is now being decided. How prepared India is, all those things are now being told to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Gaurav.
Oh, absolutely. Whatever you need to refine in terms of the strategy that's been adopted so far, was Pakistan attempting to probe where we have our radars, how we respond to Pakistan's intrusions, incursions, 400 different places, 36 different cities on target. If India were to do that, it's very clear there will be consequences for Pakistan. Now, at Russia's Victory Day event, initially we were told the Prime Minister will be going to Moscow, but then this situation happened. Then we were told Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh may be going, but then this is very crucial and both the Prime Minister and the Raksha Mantri are here. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar spoke on India's response, and Dr. Jaishankar is known to call a spade a spade. Listen in.
We also meet at a time when India is confronting the challenge of terrorism, one that is a shared threat to the international community. I thank those who have expressed solidarity with us and understand the resolute response that is underway.
Russia's solidarity, India's resolute response. Sandeep, these are words, but they carry deep meaning. India-Russia partnership exemplified not just in the S-400 systems, which has held India in great stead, or the Su-30 MKIs, the fighter jets that we use, but in a lot more military hardware, intelligence sharing. We may be close to the Americans, but we are not far from the Russians either.
Russians have always been our friends, Gaurav. I mean, right from the days of the Soviet Union and the Indo-Soviet Peace and Friendship Treaty of August 1971. They had our backs when we had our backs to the wall, Gaurav. We were facing not just Pakistan, but we were facing China and the United States as well. That's two of the five P5 countries in the 1971 war, and the Russians stood by us, the Soviet Union, of course, at that time. And Russia is one country, Gaurav, that gives us the kind of technology that most nations would not even allow us to see. For instance, it is the only country that has transferred nuclear-powered attack submarines. It has helped us build strategic submarines. All of this is in the public domain, Gaurav, I can say this. When it comes to the India-Russia military partnership, the sky is the limit, Gaurav. It is how much we can absorb from them, whether it is in terms of, fifth generation fighter aircraft technology, hypersonic missile technology, the nuclear submarine technology that I spoke about, the cutting edge, the most advanced Russian systems are available for us to collaborate on, to manufacture, and to build on our own. The BrahMos system, Gaurav, yes. that is literally the bedrock of Indo-Russian joint collaboration and manufacturing and production. It's been in service for more than 2 decades, and it's being jointly produced.
And it's now being exported.
And it's our export trump card. It's, of course, a Russian missile, but we have managed to manufacture large components of it here. We are now producing it for all 3 services. They're available in 3 variants. A 4th variant would be introduced as and when the platform is available for that. But it's a huge, huge export success for India as well. And it's, it is the BrahMos missile exports that is driving India's defense exports. We're exporting it to Malaysia.
I want to bring in Air Marshal Kapoor into this conversation on India-Russia partnership, India-America relationship, India-France relationship, because perhaps these 3 are the most defining partnerships where we can also talk about either high-end technology, learning together, making together. How do you see this partnership move forward? Very quickly, just a couple of sentences on each, Air Marshal.
Okay. I have been to all the 3 countries in official capacity and dealt with the 3 defense verticals of these countries at every level. So yes, my personal analysis, the Americans will never ever part with any high-end technology. They will never. Even the platforms which you have got, their milking of EW sensors, the main thing, we have to send it back there. So they are not willing to share anything, the Americans. The French is our closest NATO ally, because in 2005 we went for an exercise to East with Su-30s.
Yes.
And 2005, 20 years ago, the French Air Force was the only NATO country which did aerial refueling with us over East and with their tankers. Now, what it has helped us now, all our international deployments, all our exercises now, we use French tankers. No other NATO country is willing. The Russians, like Sandeep mentioned, are the most trusted allies. They have an open heart when it comes to helping. And they have a very soft corner. When you go around Russia, when you go around small cities, towns, and the erstwhile USSR countries, and moment you tell anybody that I'm from India, they have open arms. So the USSR days, the struggle days, it is etched. And I'm not sure about the young generation of Russians, but the older generation certainly has. And if India has to negotiate with all 3, the best bet would be to transfer technology for high-end with Russians. Next bet is French, and third is the Americans.
With the fighter jet engines is a debate that we shall have another time, because right now we're talking about the capabilities of the adversary, perhaps something that our government right now would be looking at with great satisfaction. Okay, so there's more information that is coming in. Big story that is coming in. Fresh Pak drone attack in Samba. That's being reported even as we speak. Fresh Pakistan drone attack in the Samba sector in Jammu and Kashmir. So Pakistan has started again. And I want to quickly understand, when Pakistan did not succeed again, it's trying once again. Does this mean that Pakistan is trying to test our responses from the time that the drone comes in to the time that we hit it? Do they have their radars now scanning to see when our radars come up so that they can ping our radars and get to know where our radars are? I want to quickly cut across and bring in Mir Farid. Mir, there must have been intelligence, because in this entire border belt, lights were turned out by the administration, and right now is this information. What more do we know of a drone attack in Samba sector?
Yes, Gaurav. In fact, you're absolutely right. The lessons were learned from yesterday, and there could have been intel inputs that what happened yesterday could repeat itself tonight. And it seems same pattern is happening, starting from CFEs in various sectors of line of control. And now I can confirm to you that in Samba, some time back, in fact, 10, 15, 20 minutes back, there have been some drones which have been intercepted by the air defense systems. Complete darkness, sirens going off at various places, and same story as far as some places of Punjab are also concerned, where again sirens are going off, and drone spotting. So obviously, if drones have come from Samba, they can come from other areas as well. One thing that is new tonight, Gaurav, is that heavy arty fire on the international border in Samba, Arispura sectors. We're coming to know that there is heavy artillery fire that the Pakistan Army has used, and the sound is being heard in Jammu proper also, in main town also. So that tells you that it is quite heavy, and Indian Army, BSF is retaliating in equal measure. That part also I can tell you. So it is a pattern, and like yesterday, slowly as the night is coming.
Another big story coming in. It's not restricted just to the Samba sector. Now information is coming in that a drone has been intercepted in Rajasthan, and this is in the Pokharan sector. That's very, very sensitive. In fact, just a short while back, I was speaking to an officer who was telling us that all along the Jaisalmer-Jodhpur belt, they were on a state of highest alert since yesterday, since the last several days. But there was anticipation that something would happen. So now a drone has been intercepted even in Pokharan. That arc of Pakistan's actions from Kupwara. In fact, if we were to talk about the last 24 hours, from Leh, Ladakh to Kupwara to Uri and Baramulla, the other side of Pir Panjal, Jammu, Samba, Katwa, and then come across to the Rajasthan sector. We are still waiting to hear what's happening in Punjab, but in Rajasthan, in Pokharan, a drone has been intercepted. Would these be kinetic or non-kinetic means? What's an easier way, Marshal, to bring down an adversary's drone? Use your jammers to bring it down so that there are no signals. But what about those that are not, that cannot be jammed and are programmed, pre-programmed?
Gaurav, these are layered kind of a thing. So if A fails, then B fails, C fails, D. So at what level are we able to intercept? How we go along?
Okay, and we're getting a response from Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah. Omar Abdullah is currently in Jammu, and he's just said, from where I am, I can hear the sound of shelling. That just goes on to indicate that the shelling is intensifying. Mir, you're with me on this, and along the line of control, before the Ramzan ceasefire of 2002 had kicked in, it used to be a very hot line of control where 155mm howitzers were poofing off. They were going off, and to deadly effect, very expensive ammunition. But now we have higher caliber weapons that can even hit longer distances. What are the Pakistanis striking? How is India responding, Mir? Okay, give me a moment as I reestablish that link with Mir Farid. Remember, he's in an area where you have to be very careful when you speak and when it's better to go down in a bunker. Sandeep, you and I have reported together from the either side of Pir Panjal when the Bofors was still going off. Now we have better weapons and the targets clearly pre-programmed.
Absolutely, Gaurav. This is unprecedented, Gaurav. While, we've been on the line of control, but we've never seen anything like this. It was, back in the day, it was artillery fire, it was small arms, it was mortars. But now there's an added element to it. It's drones. And we're looking at the dawn of a new form of warfare on the subcontinent, Gaurav. Long-range missiles, adversaries shooting at each other without even seeing, locking on at extended ranges, launching drones at each other. And we've launched our first kamikaze drones at Pakistani targets. We've, of course, struck them in broad daylight. So this is actually, we are talking about the escalation ladder, Gaurav. We have actually climbed up a few levels in that technology ladder as well. We're looking at the kind of weapon systems that have not been employed. These are all being employed for the first time. So it's a very, very worrying situation indeed, Gaurav. And Pakistan seems to be signaling that they have the intent to continue escalating the situation because it suits the Pakistan military, it looks like now.
Now, of course, these are deferred images, but this sounds like MMG fire, Sandeep. And Air Marshal, if I could bring you in, it's a quick burst. It's almost as if they're looking at the drone. They fire one burst to see whether they've taken it down. Aim and fire again, it appears. Would these be either the Zu-23s firing or MMGs taking down some kind of a target?
A part of
The rapid fire.
In that area. I fully agree with what Sandeep has just said, and I wanted to add a point here is, there is a large similarity now between what war is going on in the Middle East, Israel-Hamas. Yes. So there is a shift. The things are being used for the first time in this conflict, and we are just 3 days into this skirmish. So in 3 days, we have found that all things that have been put to use were never put to use earlier. So there is excessive use of loitering munitions. There is excessive use of drones. There is excessive use of satellite imagery. There is excessive use of INT and EW. So this is
breaking news coming in. Drones are now being used, or the drones are now being spotted even in the skies around Firozpur. The arc seems to be increasing and widening. Amit Bharadwaj joins me with more on this. Amit, where you are, stay safe. But what can you tell us about the counter drone offensive being undertaken, and are people safely home? We can see there's a total blackout all across. Amit, can you hear me?
You see,
yes,
it's been 30 minutes now that Firozpur... Yes, so Firozpur is witnessing complete blackout, and after that, this blackout began. We saw the drone movements, and we'll try to dim this light of the camera, and we'll try to show you up in the sky that from this side, particularly from Pakistan sides, and adjacent to this 30-degree angle from this particular straight side, multiple drones or flying objects with an explosive been witnessed, and also been seen by the local residents as well, and there are several sounds as well that's been heard, and continuously we are seeing that the drones that are going across, and that they've been diffused by the air defense, and also here in Firozpur the air raid siren was also sounded when this flying drones were seen in the sky. So if we just focus here on the sky, so after several minutes you'll see the red lights of the flying objects, and after which they are diffused. So here there's a complete blackout. You'll see because we are on a particular location.
Yes.
So from where you will see the whole city around, and how the traffic movement is also with the slow movement traffic is also there, and also the Firozpur area local residents are texting us that what's the scenario here, because this here was not the scene yesterday. Firozpur was calm a day before yesterday and yesterday as well, though the mock drill were also practiced here, but now the drone movements are being seen and people are somehow tense with the situation.
Is Pakistan probing? Are these probe missions or are these assault missions, or is this now going to become a routine affair and then the big strike comes unless India launches strikes earlier? If that is what the requirement is, I want to bring in Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu joining us from a very sensitive location again in Jammu and Kashmir. And Kamal, if it's safe for you to tell us, do tell us what's happening, the precautions that are being taken, and the offensive from the other side, if it's an offensive that's already started.
Well, let me tell you that Pakistani drones have been sighted in multiple locations. We're talking about Jammu, Samba, Firozpur, and there are also loud noises coming in from Pathankot and Hoshiarpur. So this is a similar noise which we saw just about yesterday. We know that there was an intensity about 300 to 400 drones being sent in 36 locations. And today also what we hear is loud noises really coming in. So what is evident is a similar practice of what happened just about yesterday. So we don't know whether these are armed drones or whether these are just the surveillance drones like the ones we saw just about yesterday. But remember, as far as the gravity is concerned, a blackout is being observed in several of the border villages at this point of time. There's high tension at the border villages, but precautionary measure. Remember, at this point of time, we'll just try and show you where we are currently at line of control. There is a complete blackout, just about a marginal light, just about what we see is moonlight everywhere else. We are not directing towards the hills, but this is a scenario. Post 6 p.m., a complete shutdown of the town, and the only light really visible is that of the moonlight. And clearly, these are tense moments because remember, a blackout is being observed in several of the cities, including in Chandigarh at this point of time, where information has been passed out that there should be protocol put in place that as far as people can go back early. But these are very, very grievous. Remember, yesterday there was a lot of surprise factor because we had not seen the swarm drones coming in like this. But today again, on a second consecutive day, Pakistan sending in. This is an act of provocation, definitely for sure. But remember, the loud noise is also the retaliation coming in from the air defense system, which is neutralizing these particular drones.
Both kinetic or non-kinetic means are being adopted. It's a layered security system, layered air defense system. The gunfire that you hear are the air defense guns that in short bursts are taking those drones down. You also have jammers that are employed, and Mir Farid with me on the other side of the Pir Panjal, very close to the line of control. Mir, is the offensive as huge even on the other side, even today?
Well, Gaurav, it seems it's building up to that because drones have been spotted in multiple sectors. Then you also have heavy artillery fire. Now, this is something new from yesterday because if you talk of the Samba sector, Firozpur, this is international border, and Pakistan thus far had not touched the international border. They were focusing on line of control. But this time around, this is very close to the Jammu city, and probably that's why, as Sunil Ji Bhatt said, that they were in fact hearing loud bang sounds that they even heard in the Jammu city. So this is RT fire that is being directed from Pakistan towards the Samba and Firozpur sector. Indian Army, BSF retaliating in equal measure, and at the same time air defenses are taking down drones. So this is at multiple levels. You have RT, you have drones, and probably some tank fires as well, which have been fired using a tank. So that is something new. We'll get confirmation on that, but I've been told by my sources that two fires have been received. They were the tanks were used to fire those shells. So that is new. Two things that are new tonight are one, international border seeing artillery fire, and then tanks also being used. So
yes,
that is
perhaps
that is happening. It is again
perhaps
Samba,
what your sources mean are self-propelled artillery. It may just be the K9 Vajra that is in action, that does appear to be intensifying. The situation does appear to be intensifying along the line of control and the international border. In Jammu, at least, the situation is pretty tense. Drone sightings and attempts to take down the drone is taking place at multiple locations. Now, remember, the army is much better deployed. The army is much better armed along the line of control and the international border, and also the weapons of choice with the pace of modernization that is taking place. You now have the K9 Vajra, which perhaps some think is a tank, but it's a artillery 155 mm. It's not towed, it's tracked. Tracked artillery is equally important in battle, especially in some areas.